Welcome to another episode of On a Mission Momentum. Today, we are going to be talking about visibility, but kind of in like a nerdy way. As you know, like you could have the best offer in the world, but if you do not have visibility for your offer, your business is not going to grow. And today I have a really special podcast guest with me that I connected with. And the way we think about business and the way we approach business is so aligned. So I just had to have her on the show today. And I'm going to introduce to you Kelly Sinclair is your go-to visibility strategist and AI-powered marketing expert, and the host of Entrepreneur School, a top 3% globally ranked podcast for business owners who want to grow without selling their soul to social media. Speaking my language. She helps entrepreneurs ditch random acts of marketing and build visibility habits that actually work. With 15 plus years in PR and brand strategy, Kelly is currently obsessed with building AI marketing tools because growing your business shouldn't take all your time or burn you out. When she's not talking visibility or training bots to sound like her clients, you'll find her juggling her kids' sports schedules or sipping a glass of rosé in her hometown of, and I want to pronounce this right, is it Cochrane? Okay, Cochrane, Alberta, Canada, right?
Indeed, yes.
Okay, perfect. So welcome, Kelly, to the show. I'm so excited to be here. I guess what I want to hear is, yes, we know you have like a background in PR, but like, what was your path from there to now like leaning into being an AI visibility coach?
Oh, so that's a long story, Lori. So that was
The
cute.
short version.
Oh,
How
cute that
about
that
that?
rhymed. Yes. So first of all, when I think about PR, it's really all about you have a message and you have a goal and there's an audience involved. So you need to like get that audience to do something. And
Hmm.
when I was working more like PR traditional, it
Hmm.
was like get someone to change their behavior or perception or start a movement or like participate in something or build awareness. Those were the kinds of goals,
Hmm.
around corporate PR. And,
Right.
I work in Alberta, so we do a lot of oil and gas kind of work there.
Okay.
And so when I thought about when I started my own business, I wanted to work with entrepreneurs because we are the core of the economy, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And
Yes.
I feel like small business owners really pour so much into what we do.
Yes.
And it's great to see that passion come through, but when we don't have that solid understanding of how to actually get the clients in the door or the people to
Hmm.
buy the stuff that we're selling, well, then that energy just goes and the doors close and the business closes. And I saw that happening all around me in my community. And
Hmm.
we have a very entrepreneurial community here. And this all happened for me at a time when I lost my mom to breast cancer.
Oh, sorry
And
to hear that.
I thank you. But, these kinds of moments can really give you that reflection point to
Hmm.
start thinking about what is it that I really want to do? What is
Hmm.
it that feels aligned for me? And I know you're all about alignment
Hmm.
because I had two young daughters at the time. They were both under 4.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm not sacrificing my time with them in order to have some career that I think I'm supposed to have, to like
Right.
climb this corporate ladder, to follow these like societally dictated steps.
Sure. Hmm.
So I decided to put those things together and that experience and support entrepreneurs because I believe that if you are successful with what you do with all the passion that you pour into it, then overall the world is going to be a happier place because more people are going to love what they do. And we spend
Yes.
so much time. We spend a third of our lives working.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think I got addicted to entrepreneurship. I'm a two-time entrepreneur, and I got a taste of entrepreneur back in 2004 when I first had my life coaching practice. And it was like, it was enough to make me just pretty much addicted to entrepreneurship. Like after you, because from there I went into corporate for a little while and I'm like, what am I doing here? And then I went back into entrepreneurship. So
Mhm.
to me, yeah, it's really about creating a lifestyle that aligns with who you are, how you want to live your life, how you want to show up for your kids, the mission that you want to carry out in the world. And I think entrepreneurship is one of those beautiful things that allows you to do all of that.
Absolutely. And the journey is a journey, right? And so when
Yes.
you were like, "Well, how did you get from there to like AI and stuff?" I'm like, I'm feeling reignited by everything right now because it's really like the piece that is allowing me to, for myself and for my clients, really amplify
Hmm.
everything,
Hmm.
right? And still stay so rooted in that building a business that supports the lifestyle that you want
Right.
rather than just having to work harder, work more, do more things, spend more
Right.
time in your business. Because now you essentially have, when you train it properly and you understand your own brand and your own audience enough, you have like an easy button that allows you to do things at a fraction of the time. And it, like, honestly, Lori, my mind is blown so many times a day with
Yes.
what it can do, how it's evolving, and there's just so much exciting opportunity to have this tool that allows you to implement your visibility plan, to support your clients better, to brainstorm, to whatever you need to like help you to not feel like you're staring at a blank page and you're all alone in this
Hmm.
entrepreneurship journey.
Yes. And we are going to dive a little, I mean, way deeper into AI because I'm so ready to get nerdy about that. But what I want to talk about first is visibility. Visibility in the traditional sense, like what that means to, to people or to entrepreneurs, right? They're out here trying to grow their business. I think a lot of times they they think it's like you said, it's social media. Like we have to be showing up on social media to be visible. We have to be doing all of these like marketing activities. We have to follow the all of the experts and the gurus and do what they tell us to do. And visibility in itself, it becomes like an exhausting word. So let's talk about visibility in the sense that you approach visibility, which is all about alignment.
hmm Yeah, you're so right to acknowledge that it can feel like an overwhelming area, especially when
Hmm.
you're not a marketer,
Right.
right? Like you started your business to do the thing your business does, to
Hmm.
be the healer, to be the coach, to create the transformations, to do that thing. And
Hmm.
then you were like, oh, and now I have to tell people about it and do sales. And like, am I supposed to now be a social media expert and
Right.
or like a podcaster or whatever else kind of comes with the
Hmm.
territory? And yeah, if you look at all of the options out there and you thought I have to do all of these things, yeah, I can see how you might want to give up on that right off the get-go.
Right.
But I really like to approach visibility strategy from the perspective of ensuring that a few things are in place. One, you really need to understand who your audience is, right?
Hmm.
Your audience is the ultimate person who you are trying to reach as
Right.
your ideal client, right?
Hmm.
And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can try and talk to them directly, or you can try and talk to them through other people who are already curating them and assembling them and building trust with them.
Hmm.
And that's my favorite way to do it
Right.
because that's kind of more of that one to many approach and borrowing trust from the other person who's already established trust with this group. So, collaborations and relationships are a huge component of any visibility strategy that I develop for a
Hmm.
client, because ensuring that that is in place is the number one thing. That's the number one filter. Because if you are like, well, I need to be on social media, I need to be on TikTok because TikTok is like trendy. Well, first of
Right.
all, I've never had it. I don't even have a TikTok account.
Me either.
I have never opened that app ever.
Right.
And I we're doing okay over here.
Right.
So I think that is the shiny object syndrome that comes into play a lot, where
Mhm.
there's like, oh, this is what's working or this is what's working. Well, okay, I will give credit to whoever's doing those strategies. It may be working for them, but there's so many different factors, like your personality, your brand, your message, who your ideal client is, what you actually like to do.
Right.
Let's stop on that point for a second. There's people who like speaking and public speaking and doing workshops and being on podcasts, and
Mhm.
there's people who are introverted. And
Mhm.
so we need to acknowledge those things and create a strategy that's actually going to work for you. Because if I were to tell you, oh, well, why don't you just go pitch yourself to all of these stages? And I have a
Right.
client right now who is like, I don't like public speaking. She's like, I think I could do podcast guesting, like in a conversational way, but I don't want to stand in the front of the room. Okay,
Mhm.
great. I'm not going to go say, well, you should get in front of all these spaces. That's not going to work like that, right? You
Right.
have to actually feel good about it. And then when it comes to social media, that becomes really one of the triggers there, is that so often we feel like, oh, I have to show up on social media. And I'll
Mhm.
insert a little caveat, and that is online presence is important, and having places for people to connect with you is important. But
Mhm.
trying to use social media to actually have people find you is a lot more challenging. So putting out
Yes.
content for that, like search and being in the explore feed on Instagram and those kinds of things, like that's just never been a reality for me. I use social media just to have DM conversations, to like, you and I met at a networking event, then we connected on social media, then we had a conversation, then we
Mhm.
ended up here, right? Like that's the
Right.
journey, rather than somebody saw my amazing video that I spent all this time on and they found me. And so
Right.
I think we're like pouring ourselves into social media and being drained by it. And that energy is so obvious. If you don't feel good about what you're putting out there or how you're
Mhm.
doing it, it's also going to not hit with your audience. They're not going to feel that good about it either, because there's no alignment in the energy of it.
So let's talk about social media for just a minute. What are your thoughts on? I get 1000% that social media, like you see so many experts, especially on Instagram, talking about, oh, you write the perfect content and you are going to attract all of your clients and you can sell from Instagram and you're going to make millions on social media. Okay. So that's what a lot of entrepreneurs are being fed. And
Mhm.
so they get frustrated when they go to try to use social media, especially like you said, if they don't even like social media. I've met a lot of people who are just like, I hate social media. Um, but they think that that's the only way that they can get the visibility that they need. And I guess, what's your thoughts about having like zero social media presence versus like, the other extreme? I personally feel like you need to have at least some level of social media presence, merely for kind of like brand presence. Like, because so many people are, yes, they may go to your website, but they go to your social media account and it's like, does this person look credible? Right? What are they posting on social media? Like, how do we balance like that extreme of what the experts tell you and like no social media presence at all?
Mhm. Okay, so I want to answer this in two ways. One is the core elements of marketing, and the other is the different types of visibility. So I just want to put
Okay.
that out there.
Okay.
M- The core elements of marketing are that you generate leads, that
Mm-hmm.
you nurture those leads, and then that
Right.
you make sales, right? Those are
Mm-hmm.
the three steps.
Okay.
So I think it's just a shift in where social media fits into that for
Mm-hmm.
you. And where I think a lot of people think that it should fit is in lead generation,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
attracting clients. But I actually look at it much more as a nurturing tactic,
Okay.
which means
Okay.
you actually have to still do other things to
Mm-hmm.
generate leads. So, like I
Okay.
said, even in our example of our relationship, we met at a networking event,
Mm-hmm.
then we connected on social media,
Right.
right? It is the place that people go after they've already found you. in
Mm-hmm.
some other context. And it's a
Right.
place where it can be reinforcing some messaging, some relationships, some, if you put stuff out there, maybe you're just having conversations behind the scenes. And that's okay too. Like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be a content machine. I
Right.
think I really want people to find permission in that social media, like, ebbs and flows however you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be valuable when it's part of the equation. But if we're starting and sitting down at the beginning of the week going, what am I going to post this week? And you're starting from that place, well, that means there's probably a lot of other pieces missing. Because for me, if I'm posting on social media, it's repurposing. That's
Okay.
100% what I'm doing there, is that
Mm-hmm.
you're getting clips from my podcast, other things that are happening. I'm at an event, I'm speaking over here, I've met this person, we did a collab. Like, that's all you're going to see basically in my feed.
Okay.
Right. And
Okay.
and so I'm doing that way. And I've actually declared, because of I'm hearing this whole conversation so much, I'm taking this summer off of social media.
Oh, now
So
that's bold.
I feel like it's bold. Also, I feel really excited about it. So I'm not going to sit here and give you advice based on an experiment that I'm about to partake in, but
Right.
that's definitely something that if you do go to my social media feed in the summer, you will see that I'm not present, and there will be something there regarding how I'm going to be capturing and documenting the experience of not being on social media and
That's
seeing what
cool.
happens behind the scenes. So there's the three pieces of marketing that and
Mm-hmm.
consideration for where social media fits into that in your own system.
Okay. So in like for you, it's in step two, the
Nurture.
nurturing.
Mhm.
So let's talk about because I mean, come on, visibility. Most people think of generating leads,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I would say a lot of entrepreneurs, especially coaches and people in the healing space, they are trying to generate leads. And I know you feel very strongly about this whole lead generation piece and participating in what you call high ROI marketing activities, right?
Yes.
So we've already determined that social media is not necessarily a high ROI marketing activity. Let's talk about what some of those high ROI marketing activities could be.
Yes. Yes, and I'm gonna bridge that with where I left you hanging on the last question, which was
Okay.
around the two types of visibility. And this is where
Okay.
the way I look at this too is that there's performative visibility and strategic visibility,
Okay.
right? And this is the performative comes from the concept of performative productivity, where you just like feel like you have to do something for the
Mm,
sake of doing something.
okay.
Right? And that's what when you are thinking about visibility that way, if you look at it, it's to be visible for the sake of being visible, or to be seen to be visible. And we tend to think that social media, well, people can see us there. So if I'm not there, then I must not be being visible, which isn't actually true, right?
Okay.
Because you could be at events, meeting actual people,
Mm-hmm.
having discovery calls. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all of these types of things are much more likely to actually convert into clients, because that's the process. Get leads, nurture those leads, make sales, right?
Sales. Right. Mm-hmm.
So, when we're thinking about what is a high ROI strategic visibility move, it's something that is more likely to lead to a conversion, which means that it's more directed at the ideal client that you want to talk to, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why I really lean on relationships.
Okay.
Relationship building is huge, because relationships are where trust can be established, and
Mm-hmm.
trust is what is needed in order for someone to feel comfortable to essentially hand over their credit card at some point,
Absolutely.
right? Like, I'm
Especially
going to pay a
in this
stranger.
AI world, right? I mean, it's
Yes.
like it's all about trust. We're asking ourselves, is this person even real? Like, is what I'm reading, AI driven and written by a robot, or is this like a real person, right? So
Hmm.
that trust is
Hmm.
critical today.
And I think the good thing is that I think there's an assumption where, or maybe our listeners are hearing this and going, well, if there's performative visibility and there's strategic visibility must be harder. It must take more time. It
Mm-hmm.
must be more challenging, right? And that is where it's exciting, where AI can come into play and really support that not being harder. But also, I just want you to also think about this way, is that we've been told, we all buy into this idea of that what we need to do is show up more,
Mm-hmm.
right? And showing up to me is performative because that's just like standing
Mm.
there doing something to do versus reaching out and connecting. And
Mm.
so I have this core philosophy built into how I teach visibility and how
Mm-hmm.
I do it for myself and have been doing it for years. And that is that you can do it in under 10 minutes a day. And this came
Please
from
teach me.
this came from a summer of Kelly deciding to not put her kids in summer camp. And I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
well, I'm going to have to be really focused if I want to keep my business moving forward. And I love that we're having this conversation at the beginning of summer because we tend to think, oh, well, it's summer. So, I should like lean back. I don't want to do
Mm.
stuff. But then you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, crap, September is going to come
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to feel like I'm trying to catch up.
Catch up.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, in order to prevent that from happening, we've got to think about future you in September and what you want your life to be like. And if you want consistent leads to be coming in and opportunities to be ongoing for you, you need to start building this habit now.
Right.
And so that means doing things like sending an email to somebody. Like, how many times have you actually met somebody at a networking event and then just never followed up with them? Right? Like the
Oh
stack
my
of business
gosh,
cards on
too
your
many
desk.
times. Like, oh my gosh, like I save the meeting chat and I'm like, I have every intention of going back to each of those people, like looking through their social media, seeing like, does this seem like an aligned connection for me and reaching out to them? And it gets busy. And the next thing you know, it's like the whole week has gone by. And now I feel like I can't really reach out because I can't even remember the networking event that I met them in.
Yes, which also lends itself to like this is why we need to have some systems around
Right.
visibility to remind us like how to track and facilitate these things because yeah, the pile of business cards or the
Hmm.
the text file of a networking chat that you have somewhere in your on your computer, it's like that needs to go somewhere to remind you to do it, right?
Yes.
But like that kind of a thing can lead to like here I am having this conversation with you.
Hmm.
I'll keep using this as an example. I'm on this podcast because we did that.
Right. 100%.
And whatever happens from this podcast, this is the whole purpose of visibility is about building momentum, which is why I connected to this habit, right? When you do this little bit of effort each day, it's going to build and build and build. And all of a sudden, you're going to shift from having to do things like pitching yourself and outreach and applying for opportunities that shifts to receiving invitations. And this doesn't happen overnight. This is a long
Right.
game, right? This can
Hmm.
take 60, 90 days to really start getting that cycle in place.
Hmm.
But it really does because once you have one good, collaboration relationship, that all of a sudden somebody you worked with is referring you for all kinds of opportunities.
Right.
Like even last week, and I was telling you before we got on this, that I've had a really heavy, like personal stuff going on the last couple weeks.
Hmm.
And I received an invitation for a paid speaking opportunity that I get to apply for that was
Very cool.
sent to me, right?
Right.
Directly from like the president of the organization, from just having been out there and doing things and like all
Hmm.
these little pieces that build upon each other and create that momentum. And they can be honestly little moves like sending the email to the collaboration partner or just checking back in on an old client. Like
Hmm.
you haven't talked to a client for like 6 months or a year. How are they doing? What are they like? Maybe they have a referral. Maybe they need more work they want to do with you, like
Hmm.
depending on what you do. Those are the kinds of things that you keep building into your momentum and your visibility plan.
So you talk about using, first of all, you talk about visibility as a habit. And I cannot agree more about like visibility is just something that it's just consistency, like just, doing, like you said, these high ROI activities consistently, like over and over, even when we get discouraged. I know myself, there's times where I'm a very consistent person, and I do consistent things over and over. And sometimes after like 60, 90 days, if I'm not seeing the results that I want, I admit I get frustrated. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I spending so much time and so much effort with this and getting nothing in return?
Mhm.
Um, and I know that there's other people that feel the same way, but nonetheless, that doesn't mean that we stop, right? Like you said, entrepreneurship is a journey, and we have to stay on that journey. But we have to also be able to balance running our business.
Mhm.
So, one of the things you talked about is like how to build visibility habits using AI in 10 minutes a day. Let's talk about what that looks like, because if I could spend 10 minutes a day on my visibility efforts and it actually like move the needle for me, like that would be amazing.
Yes. Do you mind if we dig into what you were just saying there too, about like the frustration? Can I ask you
Yeah.
a couple of follow-up questions to that just because I think it'll be really relevant to other people as well?
Yes.
So, how are you assessing effort payoff, like that ROI for yourself? Like, what are you doing to track or determine, like, what are your measurement sticks?
My measurement sticks are opportunities,
Mhm.
opportunities to um, either work with somebody directly, collaborate with somebody, um, speak like at an event where I'm going to reach my audience, like opportunities for me that will move my business forward, my visibility forward.
Mhm.
That could be leads, that could be speaking engagements, that could be collaborations, like this meeting, like a really cool person. That's how I measure
Okay.
it.
I love that because I'm glad you didn't just say sales, like actual clients, because this is always the hard space to be in when you're in marketing is like, well,
You're right.
all the things that we do are designed to give you the opportunities to make sales, but it can be a little more difficult to do that direct connecting of the dots, right?
Hmm.
That I did this one thing and then I got this one client. Sometimes
Right.
it's like the multiple, we've heard about the multiple touch points, the multiple
Hmm.
relationships, the customer journey, and sometimes it takes longer, and there's so many other factors involved in how
Right.
long it might take somebody to actually want to work with you. But kind of that's why the habit stacking and building this all up creates these additional opportunities for you to become in front of people more and more and more. And
Hmm.
some things are more effective than others, and that's also going to be subjective to you as an individual. Like for me, I know that I get the best opportunities and the most ROI when I am in a physical room with somebody else.
Okay.
So, if for me, I'm standing at the front of the room, there's the extra energy of being in
Hmm.
person, right? I love speaking. So, my passion, my energy is like way up here
Right.
when
Right.
I'm speaking at a conference. So, I spoke in person at a conference a couple of weeks ago. From there, I've had at least two conversations that have actually turned into client opportunities, like paid
Hmm.
opportunities. So, I'm able to sort of take that and go, did this, now this. But if I have to go backwards, and I love to play this game too, if I didn't do this, like, or how did I even get to that place in the first place? Me on that stage at that conference, that
Hmm.
came from 2 years of attending that conference, building
Wow.
relationships with the actual hosts of that conference, podcasting for
Hmm.
ongoing, like they had a place for to see me speak, and then they reached out and were like, "Hey, you said you might be interested in speaking at this. We've been listening to your podcast. Would you like to speak?" Right? So it wasn't
Hmm.
just a one and done thing. It wasn't just
Right.
I went to the conference, I got the client. It was like I did 2 years of stuff to lead to that, really.
Oh gosh. That's such, I mean, that is so important to point out. It really is. It's just so important because yeah, we are thinking about, I know me, I know I'm guilty, and I come from a marketing background, right? And I am guilty of like saying, I just spoke to this coaches group. why aren't I getting any clients from that coaches group? Right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it just,
This is a really important shift, and I know that we're, like, gonna get into AI in 10 minutes a day, and, like, that sounds really sexy, like, it's like, "Yes, I can do that, I can," and absolutely true, and I'm not, like, making up a headline for you either because it's true, you can do it that way. Obviously, the conference did not take me 10 minutes. This
right.
is my point, is that I was
Hmm.
there all day, I prepped for it, I created the slides, I did all the work to get to that point, so it wasn't, but it was 10 minutes a day of kicking that soccer ball forward, basically, if
Sure.
you
Hmm.
kind of break it down like that. Um, oh, and I lost my train of thought because you were like, "Oh, the how come I don't get the
Well,
thing right away?" That's the shift. I want everyone to take this shift, this mindset shift of immediate gratification,
mhm.
not a thing in
Right.
visibility. We just have to shift into visibility is a long game. It's an important thing. I need to do it every day, a little
Hmm.
bit at a time.
Right.
And your energy level is gonna ebb and flow, right? Some days you're
Hmm.
gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped. I'm gonna apply for this huge speaking opportunity. I can't wait to like pitch myself." And other days you're like, "I don't have a lot in me, so I am going to send this one email." And that's
Right.
what I'm gonna do. And you never know. Sometimes the email is the thing that leads to the more impactful result for
Right.
you.
And one thing I want to say, and you can challenge me. Sometimes visibility is equal to rest and letting go. Honestly, like I have found when I have hit that point in my brain, and I literally can physically feel it in my brain, where my brain just says, no, no more. And I shut that computer down and I just say, today is not the day. I'm running in circles. I'm not getting anything done. Today, I'm resting. And I shut it down. Part of visibility, part of running our business is letting go and allowing ourselves to rest. And
Yeah.
it's amazing because here's what I believe. We talk about alignment. We both believe in alignment, right? I believe that if we are out of alignment, if we are stressed, if we are burnt out, energetically, we are not in flow, right? Energetically, we are blocked. And so we are blocking any types of visibility. So I know for myself, when I leaned into like my strengths and my gifts and started getting super excited about my offers and everything else, stuff came from like the universe. Do not ask me. I could not. I had 6 speaking engagements in a matter of like a month. I don't know a single one of the people that contacted me. I have no idea where they came from.
Mhm.
I believe that part of visibility is being in energetic flow.
Oh,
Agree,
absolutely.
disagree.
I totally agree that that is the point to underscore is that energetic alignment, like putting some that's performative. To put
Mhm.
something out there for the sake of putting something out
Right.
there because you feel like, "Oh, I have to do this today."
Mhm.
It's just like any other habit, right? You can't go from 0 to 100 and you can't and something is better than nothing at all
Mhm.
times. And sometimes that something is, as was reframed for me just last week, because like I was saying, a lot of heavy stuff happening here, and
Mhm.
I've been not in a work headspace for about 2 weeks.
Sure.
And um, I was talking to like my business friends,
Mhm.
and they were saying, it's okay to harvest what you've sown. Like
Mhm.
you've
Yes.
already done. Like this is
Mhm.
this is also why to build the habit, right? It's not
Yes.
like haven't done anything, still don't do anything. That's contraction. That's what you're
Right.
not saying that. You're saying
No,
I've,
no,
I've
no.
been doing stuff. I put
Yes.
like the fishing lines are in the water. Like the
Mhm.
ripples are moving forward, and like let's just let them flow for a minute
Yes.
and see where it
Mhm.
comes, and things come together. Like calendar bookings are happening on on my calendar with discovery calls, like things that are, and I didn't do anything for the last 2
Right.
weeks, right?
Right.
Like the speaking opportunity I said that landed in my inbox. Again, not because I was working those times. It's because this is a long game. It is an important thing to build over time and to keep that momentum going. And so I want to bring us back to the AI piece because we've been like teasing
Yes.
it so long.
Yes. But these things that we've been talking about are so important because these are real issues that people are dealing with and struggling with. And I love what you said about reaping what you've sown. We're not talking about, oh, you don't feel like doing visibility, so never do any visibility because you feel tired. No, we're not talking about that. We're saying lean into you where you are energetically. When you feel energized and alive, like absolutely, you have to do visibility efforts, right?
I have another little hack actually. And this will be dependent on the person too. Like what gets you into a good headspace, right? Like find those things. For me, it's exercise.
Okay.
I love the way I feel after I exercise, right? Like my energy is high.
Okay.
And anybody who knows like the whole, when I try to understand manifestation, it's like matching the energy with the energy that you want. I'm like, I don't get it. Literally. I need a literal explanation. And so that one person did explain it to me like, well, where are you? What are you doing when your energy is at that level? I'm like, oh, okay, exercise. So if I don't feel good, I go exercise. And then I'm like, now what do I have the capacity for? Like, how have I actually shifted the energy in my body to allow myself to do something that maybe I, wasn't feeling before? And sometimes that is, I am like, I take a hard thing, I do a hard thing. Like, I think for me, it's exercise. I'm like, yeah, just really kick that hard thing right in the ass. And now I want to do another, like, let me do it again.
Right.
Let me build it up. Right. So
I think too, where we can get blocked energetically is when we are doing performative visibility. When we are doing visibility that does not feel good to us and that feels forced and not enjoyable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly. So to be building a habit, we're also talking about tracking what you're doing and being aware of what feels good and in alignment for you. Right?
yes.
These are all questions that I ask my clients before I build them a visibility plan. Because I want to make sure that it's something that you actually are going to do. Right?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
just
Yes.
like a fitness coach, like as much as they want to make everyone do burpees, like what if I never want to I'm not going to do the burpees,
Right.
I mean, I'm weird. I would do the burpees, but most people will be like
I
burpees.
will
No,
not do burpees.
Not happy. Not happy. Not doing the burpees. So I'm not going to make you do the burpees, right? We'll find other ways that are effective. And then we can build AI tools and leverage AI to help us to do all of these things with more ease, with more speed, and to increase the reach and the leverage of them. So
we're back now.
Back to this, and I'm like, oh no,
AI.
Do we have another 45 minutes? No.
No, we don't. So maybe we're going to have to do a part 2, but let's just talk briefly about how we can use AI in 10 minutes a day to build our visibility.
Yes. So we're thinking about what are the actual visibility tactics that we're going to use, right? For creating leads, lead generation, for nurturing those leads, and then for making sales. So I'll stick to the first two primarily. For lead generation, you're likely wanting to do collaborations, which may involve pitching yourself for opportunities or just even reaching out to people, sending them emails. You need to know, like, you have your bio, have some key messages. So you can use AI to analyze content that you've created to help you create a bio. Like, the more that you use it, the more it knows about you.
Sure.
And also it can search the internet about anything you've done. It can look at your website. It can look at your social media. It can look at, it can like find podcasts that you've been on, all of those types of things, and help you to summarize very quickly all of these things. So now, where I used to think it would take me 10 minutes, if I only had 10 minutes, well, I better do a social media post. Now I can actually like fill out an entire bundle collaboration form in that same amount of time. Right? So a bundle for those, this is one of my favorite ways to do email list building in a
Mm-hmm.
collaborative way. So for those who don't know what that is, it's you provide a resource. You
Mm-hmm.
are part of a group that is all sending out emails to invite people to join a free big digital gift box, basically.
Right.
Right. And so if you choose my gift from that box, I will now have your email address.
Right.
And I used to, like we've, again, back to like marketing 101, you've heard, you need a lead magnet of some kind and
Mm-hmm.
you need to promote it so people
Right.
can be on your list.
Yes.
Well, I think I probably took 4 years to get 100 people on my email list, just like
Wow.
by having it on my
Mm-hmm.
website or like
Right.
doing
Right.
without knowing how to actually do it.
Exactly. Yes.
And now I can get like 400 people in a week on my email list if I do a bundle
Right.
or a collaboration kind of like that, where you may be speaking at something and you have a free gift.
Mm-hmm.
When if I'm speaking in a room, I'm also giving them a free gift.
Sure.
The
Mm-hmm.
goal is always to get people on your email list so that you can then go to step 2, which is nurturing
Nurturing. Mm-hmm.
and being able to send them emails, share helpful resources, like acknowledge where they're at. This is how you build trust. And
Sure. Mm-hmm.
again, another thing you can use AI for is writing those emails, right?
Right.
Writing
Mm-hmm.
sequences of emails, series, writing
Right.
individual emails. You can voice, if you're a voice person, you can like voice message AI and it can like turn that all into an email,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're dealing with things that are hard to write about. Like last week when I was a death that happened in my community that I was
Mm.
trying to manage, and I wanted to just share about sort of the experience of
Mm-hmm.
feeling good and on fire, and then all of a sudden boom,
Right.
like something hard happens and it forces you to slow down and reflect and look differently, and it just feels like whiplash. And I
Right.
didn't have the words to articulate that because it's pretty challenging. But
Sure.
because I've given it my voice and I've given it,
Yes.
best practices in email storytelling and all of those
Mm-hmm.
things, it was able to produce something that I was like very happy with, that felt very good to share.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
again, writing an email, which maybe used to take half an hour, 45 minutes, can be done in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Right. Yes. Yeah. Same for me. Like I've built, I think 5 custom GPTs in my business, and one client facing with 3 more client facing GPTs like on their way. It's amazing like how much time like the custom GPTs have like saved me. Like I all of my processes are built into these GPTs, my brand voice, like
Mhm.
examples, like everything is like, built into it, my offers, like all of that stuff is built into those GPTs. And that's how you get AI to work for you.
Yes,
Right.
and I love this because I've always been a strategist, right? I like to
Mm-hmm.
like make the plan for you, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm able to also deliver a plan for my clients with essentially the tools, the easy button of how to implement that plan. So if
Right.
I'm like, here, you're going to do podcast pitching, or you're going to do, blog writing, or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
have your own, if you have your own podcast and you want to leverage that further, then I'm able to help with training AI, building those custom GPTs, and building out a whole suite of visibility tools that I provide access to as part of. So it's like, here's a strategy and the implementation now married together, which
Right.
makes me excited about how much more I'm able to support my clients with that. And when you
Mm-hmm.
have access to these tools, it makes it easier for you to increase and expand and amplify your visibility too.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, there's so much, and I think not everyone is at the level where they've learned how to build custom GPTs yet. And I think people think that it's about, oh well, you're cheating, you're just using AI to help your clients, or you're just using AI. No, everyone I think needs to understand is all of our strategic information is being built into these custom GPTs, right? It's not like I'm like, I built an AI offer confidence tool, right? And it's not based on what AI thinks about this person's offer. It's based on what I use to help my clients determine whether or not their offer is ready to launch. Right. And so I
Mhm.
feed that information to AI. I train AI on that information and I tell AI how the output is going to what it's going to look like.
Yeah, at a really high level, the output of AI is only as good as your ability to provide good input
Yes.
and manipulate it,
Right.
right? So it's
Hmm.
not like I did this live actually training in the training session I did at that conference where
Hmm.
we went through Chat GPT and I showed um, a generic prompt. Like I use the same prompt in three contexts, like write me an
Hmm.
email about XYZ thing.
Right.
And I did it with no, like, this is your first
No
time using
training.
Chat GPT. It doesn't know you. It doesn't know anything.
Hmm.
Like, what can it pull from the internet basically and write this email?
Right.
Versus a Chat GPT project where you've given it context and it knows things
Hmm.
that you've done before
Hmm.
versus a custom GPT, which
Right.
has a very specific task. Like a custom GPT is like having an employee and saying, this is your
Hmm.
job description and
Yes.
this is exactly how I want you to produce this thing every single time.
Right.
And it remembers, which is great.
Yes.
Um, so so yes, knowing all of those things and having it, have the best practices, your own philosophy in there.
Hmm.
Like when I'm using it to help me build my client's visibility strategy, it
Hmm.
has my template, my
Right.
approach, my philosophy, my
Right.
like core elements that I want in there to
Yes. Hmm.
produce that output. So
Right.
it's not just like, what does OpenAI think this person
Yes.
should do?
Exactly.
It's actually, like, very contextualized. So and that, you don't have to learn how to build all of those things too. Um, you can get assistance with that essentially.
Sure. Absolutely. So we talked about a lot. Like, is there anything like that you feel like we need to add, or like any closing thoughts that you have around visibility and AI and all of that goodness?
Well, maybe I'll just summarize the key messages that I really like to leave people with, the
Okay.
few little shifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we are here if people don't know about your business, you won't have any clients,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
That's the fact.
There's the ABCs of visibility.
So what are we doing to get people to know who we are? We need to be strategic and focused on an aligned audience,
Hmm.
aligned tactics that align with your energy and your brand.
And I will add an aligned offer.
Well, yes, because that's the outcome.
Yes.
You're pushing them towards that aligned offer at the end of the day, right? So
Yes.
again,
Uh-huh.
if you don't know what that is, to go back and work with Lori and get that
Right.
figured out. And
Absolutely.
then you can come see me and we'll talk about how to get the right people to know who you are and the right messaging that helps to connect the dots between it all.
Yes.
And so strategic visibility, it's a habit that you need to build, long game that's just part of what you do every single day. And it's
Hmm.
just if you can embrace that, you're going to be much more successful in moving your business forward. Like this is just part of what you always have to do. And you don't have to be like a marketing strategist to do it. Once
Hmm.
you understand all of these core elements that we talked about in this episode, and if
Hmm.
you have a visibility plan, then you're also able to use AI to make it all happen. And I would love to support with that. So please reach out. And I actually have a free
Tell
gift.
people like what's the best way to get in touch with you. We
Mhm.
know about your podcast, Entrepreneur School. What else? Like, do you have like any kind of free AI tool or like?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I will give your listeners, Lori, access to my visibility 90-day visibility sprint starter kit, which
Okay.
has a whole list of like it's a plug and play tool that will help you to choose what to do for
Mm.
visibility, to track those things. And I even have obviously built a custom GPT into it that is a little sprint coach that will help you to take action when you don't want to. We'll give you a pep talk if you want. We'll help
Okay.
you. What you can be like, tell me what to do for the next 3 days, and it will just be like, here are 3 strategic things. Like it will ask you how your energy is actually.
Awesome. I
And
love
then
that.
it will choose the right moves for you based on where you're at right now, just to help get you going. Because sometimes you know, the hardest move to make is from standing still to moving forward. And once we're
Mm,
moving forward, we can just get that flowing a lot better, right? So I'll make sure you have the link for the show notes.
please,
And then
please.
my website is ksco.ca.
ksco.ca. And I, of course, will put that in the show notes. And yeah, this has been amazing. Like, thank you so much for just all your amazingness, all of your like strategic input, and just your thought leadership around this whole topic. I think it's really, really important, and I am positive listeners are going to get a lot out of this. So again, thank you, Kelly, for being here.
I appreciate you having me on your platform. Thanks so much, Lori.
Okay.